The night I called my fiancé my mammal, and he will never let me forget it. They say drunk words are sober thoughts. If that's true, then somewhere deep in the recesses of my soul, I apparently see my fiancé as a warm-blooded vertebrate. It happened last night, a night that was supposed to end in intimacy, connection, and maybe a little distraction from the chaos I had just escaped. But instead, it became the origin story of the dumbest nickname I've ever invented, now echoing through the halls of our apartment like a running gag I can't delete from existence. Let me paint the picture. I was drunk. Not tipsy, not, haha, I feel a little warm. I was angry drunk. The kind of drunk that comes after arguing with people who are supposed to love you, but only manage to leave you bleeding emotionally. I stormed home, mascara slightly smudged, heart pounding, just wanting to be touched. But not gently, no. I wanted to be obliterated, consumed, pulled back into my body. And so, I crawled into bed next to the man I'm going to marry and tried to channel that hurricane into passion. That's when I said it. You're my mammal. God help me. Let's rewind to the start of the evening. My family's dysfunction is the kind you only see in movies about Thanksgiving disasters. Loud, layered, and served with a side of guilt. We'd had a blowout. Words were said that shouldn't have been. Things about my choices, my relationship, my life. I walked out of there feeling like a child again, misunderstood and unheard. So I did what any emotionally stunted adult does. I grabbed a bottle of cheap wine, went home, and drank it straight from the source. By the time I stumbled into our apartment, I was simmering. My fiancé, the sweetest man alive, patient to a fault, looked up from the couch and immediately knew I was spiraling. He asked if I was okay. I nodded. I wasn't. I climbed into his lap and kissed him like I needed oxygen. He didn't ask questions. He held me like a lifeline and followed me to the bedroom. Things got heavy fast. We weren't slow dancing to Marvin Gaye. We were making out like teenagers trying to erase the world. He climbed on top, and I wrapped my legs around him like armor. I wanted him to take me away from myself, to ground me, shake me, remind me that I was alive and wanted. And then, the line came. I meant to say, "You're my man." Simple, dominant, possessive, sexy. But the word animal had also floated in at the worst possible moment, a leftover from whatever primal mood my brain had entered. And instead of filtering either one properly, my drunken mouth decided to combine them. "You're my mammal," I moaned, with all the sincerity of a drunk poet. Everything stopped. He froze, mid-thrust, looked down at me. "I'm your what?" The confusion on his face, the flicker of shock, and then the dam burst. Laughter erupted from his chest so violently, he literally rolled off of me and curled up on the bed, howling. I was mortified and still very, very drunk. So I tried to fix it. "You're my strong, hot mammal?" I wanted to disappear. He was gone, wheezing, clutching his stomach, kicking the blanket. It took him a solid 5 minutes to stop laughing, only to start again every time he looked at me. Eventually, he composed himself enough to get back into the act, but not without smirking, not without chuckling every few minutes, not without whispering, "Yeah, that's right, who's your mammal?" into my ear, which set him off all over again. The moment, once wild and consuming, was now dripping in comedy. He didn't stop until I finally passed out, red-faced and mumbling apologies. I woke up with a pounding head and the heavy fog of drunken memory. The sunlight streamed through our curtains, and there he was, brushing his teeth, towel slung low on his hips, grinning like a damn gremlin. "Morning," he said. "How's my favorite mammal?" I groaned, pulling the sheets over my head. He walked over, kissed my forehead, and whispered, "I can make you coffee. It's the least I can do as your strong, hot mammal." kill me. I dragged myself out of bed and into the kitchen, trying to focus on the smell of coffee and not the memory of my drunk alter ego's terrible nickname. But he wouldn't stop. He brought me a mug and added, "As your mammal, I feel a responsibility to keep you warm." At that point, I lost it, not with anger, but laughter. I doubled over, face burning, eyes tearing, realizing this was never going to end. I had branded him, accidentally, forever. He sat across from me, smug and amused. "You know you've given me lifelong material, right? Like I'm using this in my wedding vows." I wanted to protest, but all I could do was sip my coffee and shake my head. This was my life now. As the day went on, he didn't let up. At the grocery store, he looked me dead in the eye and said, "This mammal's got your back. I'll grab the eggs." At a red light, he toned to me and whispered, "I'd fight a saber-toothed tiger for you." And later, while folding laundry, he asked if mammals did it for me and flexed like a bodybuilder. It was ridiculous. It was endearing. It was so painfully us. Some couples are defined by shared hobbies, others by matching tattoos. Us, apparently, we're defined by a drunken sex joke that became a love language. Because here's the thing, beneath all the laughter and embarrassment, I realized something important. He didn't mock me to humiliate me. He laughed because he felt safe with me. He teased me because he loved every messy, weird part of who I am, and I adored that. That nickname, as stupid as it was, somehow wrapped our entire relationship into one absurd, affectionate ball. Even now, when I think of him, my rock, my safe space, I kinda get it. He is my mammal. So yeah, I called my fiancé my mammal mid-sex, and now I live with the consequences. But in the end, it wasn't shame that stuck with me. It was joy, his laughter, his teasing. The way he made my worst moment feel like a shared joke, not a scar. Love, I've learned, isn't always poetic. Sometimes it's just two people laughing until their stomachs hurt because someone said something stupid in the middle of an orgasm. And honestly, I wouldn't have it any other way. But for the love of all things holy, double-check your drunk vocabulary. Do you like stories like this? Click here to watch more.